Did you know that people who write down their weekly plans are 42% more likely to reach their goals? A study from a Dominican university revealed that simply planning things out can give your success rate a massive boost. Writing things down turns ideas into action. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 5 common mistakes that mess up even the best plans and how you can avoid them. By the end of this video, you'll feel ready to take control of your time, and make sure to watch the whole video because this can change your life forever. But before we begin, let's get real for a second. Why is it so tough to actually plan things out and stick to it? Common struggles with planning. We've all been there. You start the week with big plans, ready to crush your goals and finally be that productive person. But then, procrastination creeps in and distraction has you by your throat. And before you know it, those wonderful plans you had, out the window. Here's the thing though, you're not alone. Behind closed doors, most people face these same struggles, even if they don't talk about it or pretend like they've got it all together. Maybe you're buried under so much that just starting feels impossible. Or you might be one of those people, like me, who tends to take on way too much, only to feel overwhelmed later. And let's not even get started on distractions. Notifications, social media, emails. It was supposed to be a quick 5-minute scroll, but somehow you end up watching some oddly satisfying video for hours or finding out what your ex-cousin's dog is up to. Listen, it does not have to be this way, and these are totally fixable. I'm not saying you have to turn your life upside down or master some kind of Jedi mind trick. No, it's just a few small shifts that can make a huge difference, which you can start right now as you sit there and watch this video. So are you ready? Let's make this the week you turn things around. So the first key challenge people face with planning is not knowing where to start, struggling to set priorities. When you don't know your priorities, you get stuck trying to do everything at once, which inevitably leads to burnout and missed deadlines. Here's what you should do instead. Separate your tasks into must-dos versus nice-to-dos. Pick the top 3 things that really matter this week. What's going to move you closer to your long-term goals? Those are your must-dos. Everything else can wait. Another strategy is the Eisenhower Matrix. What you do is you divide your tasks into 4 boxes. Urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither. And yes, if you're wondering, this method is named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, the US president. He had such a powerful time management approach that Stephen Covey repackaged it in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's how we got the Eisenhower Matrix. The next pitfall to avoid is overplanning and underachieving. Overplanning and underachieving. While having an ambitious spirit is admirable, there's a fine line between motivated and overzealous. Many people set unrealistic expectations by cramming too much into their schedule. They overestimate what they can do in 7 days. It only leads to disappointment. So, here's the first piece of advice. Keep the plan realistic. Focus on 3 to 5 major tasks or goals for the week. Think about what really matters to you this week. This is much more satisfying to cross off a few important tasks than to attempt too much and end up feeling overwhelmed. Next tip is to schedule your tasks based on your energy levels. Plan demanding tasks for when you are most alert, like in the morning, and leave less intensive tasks for the afternoon, when energy tends to dip. It's all about working with your energy patterns. Even with priorities set and a realistic plan, there are things that can still derail your best efforts. This leads us to the next common pitfall, procrastination and getting distracted. Even with a plan, many struggle with procrastination and distractions. Social media, emails, and countless distractions make it hard to focus on tasks. The human brain is wired to crave novelty and spontaneity, making it too easy to rationalize putting off important tasks in favor of more enticing indulgences. Fortunately, there are many ways to counteract these tendencies. One of the top methods is the Pomodoro technique. You work for 25 minutes, then reward yourself with a 5-minute break. This gives your brain a little dopamine boost, and it makes the whole process feel like a game. It keeps your brain fresh and happy, letting you recharge while you're still making progress. To help you focus even better, eliminate distractions in your workspace. It's highly recommended to set up a special workplace just for your tasks. Don't use your bedroom or places where you eat or sleep, a place just for work. But if not, just simply keeping your space clean makes a huge difference. Turn off notifications. Close tabs and apps you don't need and set specific times when you can check emails and social media, like a special time just for that. While careful planning is important, being too rigid can also be problematic, which leads us to our next pitfall, not allowing flexibility. Raise your hand if you're a recovered perfectionist or a rigid planner. Some people plan their week too rigidly, expecting everything to go perfectly. And when things don't go accordingly, they feel discouraged, throw up their arms, and even give up on their schedule entirely. Their plans weren't the problem. They were great. What they overlooked was feeling some buffer time in the plans. You see, life is unpredictable. But when you're flexible with your plan and you leave some room for the unexpected, it's easier to adapt without feeling like you've failed. Secondly, treat your plan as a guide, not a strict rulebook. If you miss a task, don't panic. Move it to another time or day instead of giving up. Don't treat your weekly plan as some strict doctrine carved in stone. It's not there to rule over you. It's there for you to rule over. If you have to move a task to another day, so be it. Don't let one missed appointment put you down. Life is too unpredictable to hold ourselves to rigid, unrealistic standards. Take on flexibility as your superpower. Now hold on. Being flexible is important, but that doesn't mean you can just go wild and do whatever you like. Now that you've loosened the reins a bit, it's time to rein it back in. We all know that balance is the key to everything. This brings us to the final pitfall people fall into, which is lack of follow-through. Planning is one thing. Actually following through is where most people fall short. Without accountability or regular check-ins, plans can be forgotten or pushed aside. It's easy to write down tasks for the week, but somehow by Wednesday, things start slipping. And by Friday, you're like, what in the world happened? What are you missing? A daily review habit. Try taking just 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each day, reflecting on what you accomplished and adjusting your plan for the rest of the week. It's just like a little accountability check each day to keep you on track. Speaking of accountability, sometimes having a little extra support goes a long way. Set up accountability systems, whether it's with a friend, family member, or even using a tracking app. Sharing your weekly goals with someone can give you that extra push to follow through. Conclusion. We covered a lot of ground today, but the main roadblocks to effective planning boil down to 5 key points. Not setting clear priorities, over-planning, giving into procrastination, being rigid, and not following through. But as we discussed, you can win over each of these obstacles with some simple mindset shifts. And now you have a whole toolbox of tips to try. I encourage you to pick just 1 or 2 areas to focus on for your next weekly plan. Grab hold of those targeted tips, and I promise you'll see a massive shift in your productivity and sense of control over time. Now I want to hear from you. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to weekly planning? Or if you have a great tip to share, drop it in the comments below. If you found value in this video, make sure to leave a like and share it with someone who might benefit from it. And if you're still here, click on the video for tips on how to stay disciplined. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this personal growth journey